What's up, Dylan?
What's up?
So you are a YouTuber. Tell people what exactly you do for your YouTube channel.
So I go to parties, which is an entertaining environment. However, I ask questions about the truth and how people feel, how to empower women, things like of that nature.
What does empowering women look like for you?
I believe empowering women is telling them not to follow what's trending, tell them to find themselves before finding a man,
Yep.
tell them to take care of their bodies, to take care of their innocence, tell them to take care of their mental health, love themselves before they can love anybody else, and be happy.
So it's basically the opposite of what the world is telling them to do. Because the world, if the world is trying to empower women, it's telling them that they should be sleeping around and all that jazz.
Oh yeah, it's completely messed up.
Yeah.
They're saying, I'm gonna just be straight up with
Yeah.
you. All right.
Yep.
They're saying pop your, you know what I'm saying, throw it out here, do what you have to do, all these things. However, they're saying that increases your value when it really doesn't.
Right.
It really doesn't. It actually decreases your value. All of your value is in your, you know what I'm saying? It is in your sexual exclusivity. So when you protect your body, when you protect your energy, and when you protect your being, that's where your value's at. The more you give it up is the complete opposite. You're giving up your value.
Yeah, I don't know if they lose their value, but it would be harder to bond with someone down the line. So that's what I think of that. I don't think a woman is less valuable if she has a higher body count, but I will say it's going to be harder to date her because it's going to be harder to bond with her.
And I would also say that's kind of subjective too, because some guys don't care about body counts and they still might be able to find a man. But I would say majority of men care about a woman's body count.
Yeah, I most certainly care. But I just don't think she's less valuable. But I do also know that it's going to be harder for me to date her because her pair bonding significantly drops. I mean, they say that women with even just a body count of 5 have a 20% chance of a happy marriage.
Really.
Yeah.
And however, I think the responsibility of a successful marriage is the man. I think the world's responsibility is of a man. The responsibility of his family is about a man.
Yep.
The responsibility of the wife he chooses is of the man. All of the responsibility is men. We could talk about women, but I genuinely think it's all of men's responsibility. All of this garbage that's going on is because of men's fault. Men are pushing these ideals to brainwash from the inside out. And at the end of the day, it's all of men's fault. And it's our responsibility to put our women back in check.
I agree, but how do we go about doing that?
Well, the way I'm doing it is by going to parties, having conversations with beautiful women, getting to know them, getting to understand their part and their emotions and their perspective. And then we can talk about it, have a conversation, and hopefully get closer to the truth.
So having personal conversations is one way to start by changing.
Of course, sharing ideas.
Yep.
I think men right now men and women are very disconnected.
For sure.
We are very competing against each other instead of working together.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
I think a lot of what the propaganda from the world too is showing is men should be more feminine and women should be more masculine. And it's just proving that that's not working.
It's not. God made us very intentfully. Masculinity and femininity are opposites
Yes.
that attract each other.
Yep.
Actually, studying men and women and the men and woman dynamic brought me closer to God. I was like, wow, this is a math equation almost to a relationship. And when you have the disconnect, when you have the woman that's masculine and the man that's feminine, it's hitting against each other within.
Yeah.
And then how can you pair with somebody else when they're not good within?
Especially because it's out of nature too. A masculine woman is out of her nature. She's able to do that, but it's not really natural for her. And when it comes to feminine men, that's not natural for them either. And women just aren't really attracted to feminine men, but they're constantly being pushed that way in movies, at school, to be that way. And in the movies, it works, right? You see this feminine man and he wins the girl over. So in the movie, it's working. So they get brainwashed that way.
Yeah.
Into thinking that this is the way that it's going to be. And then so guys start acting this way, hoping that it's going to attract a woman, and it's just not working.
It's
kind of wild.
Destroying itself in real time, and people are noticing it. And we're going back to traditional values. I truly believe that. And if you want to have a successful relationship, you have to listen to what we're talking about and at least try to understand, right? Because if you're listening to the media, if you're watching the mainstream, they're leading you in the wrong direction. And then it goes back to, this is the Bible playing out in front of us. The world is leading us away while God is trying to bring us back to the truth.
Yep.
And whatever your definition of God is, I think it's just good, traditional, back to nature, the way he created. So you're completely right. Relationships are falling, and it's all because men are acting feminine and letting women become masculine and putting women in masculine nature. Because if a man can't provide for his woman, the woman has to become masculine.
Yep. Exactly.
And then that's also, if you want to bring it to a bigger point, the woman has to go to work now because the average man can't make enough to cover the entire house.
Correct.
So according to society and the government and the way that the money and the economy is moving, women have to go in their masculine nature to also be able to put a roof over the head.
Right. So how do men conquer this issue? How do we go about fighting this?
You can't be an average man anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I've heard that. I've heard that on Christian channels, because the church is going to tell you that we're wrong for saying that. They're saying, oh, you just need to be godly and believe in God, and in his timing, a woman will come. But being godly isn't enough to attract a woman. It sounds bad. That's not what you're going to hear in church, but it's just not. You have to have... I agree with what you said, that you can't be an average man anymore. You have to work towards goals, whether that be starting a business. Maybe you have to work 2 jobs, go to a college with a good degree, because you can go to college and get a really dumb degree and go nowhere. And like this podcast is one thing that I want to start doing. If this starts growing, I can make money from this on top of my other job, then I would put myself in a different bracket. It's no longer average.
It's called SNL, the Trinity to get women: status, network, looks. You need status, which is money and fame. Network, people you know. Look, the way you look. You need to max out all of these areas to get women nowadays, because they're comparing you to The Rock.
Do we really need to be famous, though?
It increases your value in a social economy that we're in.
Yeah, I suppose with social media, it almost seems like girls do want a guy that has a ton of followers.
Not just the followers is bigger than the girls. It's about the influence you can create. It's about the message you can spread.
So it's them seeing you as a leader in that way.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes a little more sense. I thought you meant just famous as in like a movie star, and because the movie stars usually are not living according to the Bible.
I'd rather have 100K true followers rather than 10 million fake followers.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
Bots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, nobody wants bots.
And if you have 100K followers, you're a digital king, in my opinion.
Digital king.
And then you got these people following you. And it goes back to leadership.
Yeah.
So all of these things are what you need to work on surface level, and these are things that we have to take accountability on as men. You have to do these things. It's not skipping around the bush. The work has to be done, or else you're just going to be a loser, and you're going to fail.
What about the spiritual side of things, though?
Okay, exactly. So then that's all surface level, right? And then the spiritual level, the only way to get these surface level things is spiritually. I talked about the law of correspondence. the law of correspondence states that how you are spiritually represents itself physically. Right? So to have these things, you need to have a source, you need to have a specific spiritual understanding with yourself to be able to function, right? And if you have the money, but you don't have the intelligence to understand who you're talking to and the people you're around, you might get finessed. If you don't have the experience with girls and you have all the money, she might take your money. And you need the experience, you need the life, you need to understand yourself before trying to get all these girls.
Yeah, you definitely want to be secure in who you are before you start dating. Because I've had it back in the day where you think that the girl is the best prize of life, and that's nowadays I wouldn't say that's the number one prize for me.
What's the number one prize?
Well, God, of course, but for me, what is the number one? That's a good question. I don't really know what the number one prize is for me right now, other than following in God's path that he has for my life. But that's so cheesy to say. But marriage for me just isn't even on my priority list right now. It's not even on the list at all. If a girl comes up to me or something happens where I find somebody, okay, but I'm not actively searching for girlfriend/wife.
Which makes sense. And you are still developing your value. I don't think a man hits his prime until he's like 35, 40. And you have all the time in the world. So take it.
Well, I've only got 5-10 years right now, but
Not necessarily. You can still be a 50-year-old guy pulling. I'm not going to lie.
yeah, that's true. There is some girls who are like in their 20s go for 50-year-old guys. I don't know why they do, but
Because women value experience, women value money, women value respect, we like completely opposite things. Women like experience, men like innocence. Women like strong, men like weak, small. We want to take care.
we want to provide.
You see what I'm saying? Men and women, we're complete opposites. We attract oppositely.
So why don't you think that that's talked about in church in today's day? Because that's why Christian relationships, I think, are failing, because they're not talking about what actually attracts women.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? And so that's why I started my whole YouTube thing, right? Because I go out and I talk to girls at parties, interesting environments, and I'm out here talking to girls and talking about this, but then I might also talk about God. I'm also going to talk about love, and I'm also going to keep it positive. And the church, I don't know why the church doesn't talk about it. They definitely should. But the church is really God and book oriented, but I don't want to say we need to adapt to modern times,
Right. No.
but understand that we're in an attention economy and we're losing. All the attention is going towards the Satanists, towards the evil.
Mm-hmm.
And if we need to do something, if we want to do something that actually spread the word, we might have to adapt and talk about certain things like this. Talk about the taboo subjects.
Yeah, and I don't think it necessarily needs to be on a Sunday morning sermon, but I'm more talking if there's a college age night or youth night, like maybe start implementing some of this into it, teaching guys that ambition is good, godly ambition is good. It's okay to make money. It's okay to chase your goals, as long as it's done with God, of course, because we have proverbs in the Bible that tell us that wealth is good. It's okay to gain wealth, and it's like slow wealth is better than wealth gained fast. But then we also have Ecclesiastes that teaches us, yeah, we can have all that stuff, but without God, it's meaningless. So I think if they could find that balance, because a lot of times it's always the stuff that I hear in church is just sitting in the stillness with God and the presence of God. And that's important to have your quiet time, prayer. But Girls aren't dating the dudes that are out in the woods crisscross applesauce for 3 hours meditating on the Bible every day. They're just not. It's not reality.
And right now, I'm gonna tell you myself, I sit still with God. I sit still with myself all the time. It might not be for 30 minutes. It might be for 20. It might be for 15. And I
Right.
sit still as a break and, okay, let me get back to consciousness. And that's really important. But understand that you also have to develop a relationship with yourself and take accountability for your own actions. Putting everything on God is, wait, okay, what are we doing here? If I can just sit here and pray, God's sending me the light bulbs, but I'm not jumping on. What am I doing? I have to jump on, and now it's my turn to create the action. It's my turn to put in the work. And if you're not putting the work in, and if you're just saying God's gonna do it for me, and He's trying to send you help, He's sending you opportunities, and you're not taking advantage, that's your fault.
Yeah, and just to make sure, I'm not saying that sitting in quiet is bad.
Of course, no. I know what you meant.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just wanted to say it's not good to only be doing that all the time.
Yeah, for sure. I know what you meant. And actually, I want to give a little review. Let's see how this sparkling spring water tastes. I like that.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Is it flavored?
No,
Oh, it's just sparkling water?
it's straight sparkling water.
Nice.
Healthy young man. Let's talk about that. Health. Your body is your temple.
Okay, I agree. Some people just equate that that part of the Bible to it only refers to sex, and you should treat your body like a temple by not having sex before marriage. And I agree, you should wait till marriage. But I think treating your body like a temple is all across the board, health wise. Don't be drinking alcohol. Personally, I don't really like to drink alcohol. I've had it. Sometimes I'll have some, but I just not my thing.
Okay.
But how would you go about being healthy?
If God made it, I can eat it. So, fruits, vegetables, meat, eggs, rice, bread, regular food. Try to stay away from the sweets, the sugars,
For sure.
the artificial ingredients. It's all synthetic. And that all messes up your gut microbiome.
Do you know how it messes up your gut microbiome?
It's synthetic ingredient. It's synthetic ingredient. It's synthetic ingredients,
Yeah.
and you are an organic body.
Yeah.
So I only eat organic fruit. Only eat organic foods. So sometimes I might fold and eat a pizza, but majority of the time,
It's okay to indulge every once in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Have something, but
And the pizzas I eat, they have meat, chicken, meats, and a lot of vegetables. So I try to keep it healthy. I mean, and that's bread and cheese. So we can almost argue that's healthy, but don't get me out there.
we can almost argue. It depends on what the dough is made of and the cheese and how much grease is in it.
Olive oil is healthy.
Olive oil is healthy.
Butter. Only oils you should be. Avocado oil.
Avocado oil and olive oil are the only two you should be using.
No vegetable oil. No seed oils.
Nope.
No peanut oils. Only drinking water. However, for the drinkers, tequila, agave. So
Is that really a healthy?
alternative, yeah, it's the healthiest. Straight tequila. No mixed drinks. No sugars. And not often. Keep it moderate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't like tequila. Not
Yeah.
my thing. Back to the health, though. How else can we be healthy? So is working out a way of treating your body like a temple?
1000%. You need to work out. You need to.
How many times a week?
Every day if you can. No rest days.
No rest days?
No.
Why not?
You don't use it, you lose it. This is what it is.
What about honoring the Sabbath, though? Isn't it okay to rest one day out of the week?
In a capitalistic society, no, it's not.
All right. I mean, I'll probably still take my rest day, but
And you can, and that's completely fine.
Yeah.
However, and I take rest days. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm iron-minded, but my rest days are natural. Like if I don't have time to go to the gym. However, if I have space out of my day, I'm definitely going to the gym. 100%. But if I don't, like after this podcast, I'm going to go to the gym.
this late?
Yeah, I don't go to bed till 6 in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's the opposite of me. You're on third shift schedule.
Yeah, I am.
Is that what you worked at the hotel?
No, I was 2 to 9.
Okay.
And then after work, I would stay up and edit videos all night.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then I stay up till 6 in the morning.
That makes sense.
Then I go to work 2 o'clock. So then I get that little morning to sleep.
Okay. And what kind of working out is best for us? Do you know? Is it lifting weights, cardio, mix of both?
Everything full body. Cardio for sure. You need cardio. You need to be able to run. I lift, but lifting is important. Full body exercises. So hit the core, the arms, the legs, hit everything. I also do 100 push-ups every single day.
100 push-ups every day.
Yeah. And then I want to increase it to 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and 100 sit-ups. So I hit every single spot every single day. And that's before the workout. And then you got the lifts, and then you got the running. I also play basketball, and I also fight.
Ooh, you fight.
Yeah, I like the
Do
box.
you actually spar with people?
Yeah.
Nice.
I plan on posting some videos soon.
Where do you go for that?
I'm looking for a gym right now. Right now, I'm just, me and my boy are boxing, hitting a bag. But we just hit each other. So I just fight my friends right now. But I used to fight when I was in 8th grade.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, so on the video on our reel on Instagram, you commented on it. It was the one where we talked about bad things happening. And the kid that was on here, Logan, was talking about losing his grandmother. And we talked about where evil comes from. Mm. So where do you think evil comes from, and how do you define God with that?
I believe evil was created by God.
Really? That's a new take, because I think that evil is just the absence of God. But we'll hear your case.
I believe that we are in a God-created simulation. Consciousness is God. Existence is God. Everything is God. And I'm one with God, one with my being. And I've dealt with a lot of evil in my life. However, all the evil made me closer to God, because now I want to do good. If I never experienced evil, then I really wouldn't care if I did evil to you. But I understand how evil feels, so I only want to treat you good and take care of you. And it's a simulation that God created, and he said, listen, there's the evil and there's the good. You have free will. You're going to learn some lessons from it, or you're not. You're going to fall. And what I decided to do was use all the evil in my life and turn it into lessons. And I believe I needed that loss. I needed these traumas, these tribulations to grow.
Yeah, you can't be made in the image of Christ without going through some type of suffering or trials or whatever you want to call it.
My favorite message of Jesus Christ is, as a man, put the cross on your back and walk up that hill. Take everybody's suffering, take everybody's pain, and take care of their problem and walk up that hill. Mm-hmm. I think that's the definition of a man.
So you would describe Jesus as the perfect man? Which, I mean, he is, but...
Yeah, I like that. And it's somebody that we should look up to for sure.
So when you say God is everything, are you coming from a pantheistic religion where God is like, this tree is God, or the clouds are God, or what do you mean by God is everything?
Yeah, he's the whole consciousness experience.
Well, what does that mean?
So, me experiencing this right here, like I believe this situation right here is God.
Yeah, that's where I would differ from that. I think God is in heaven and he creates all things and he's all powerful and all present. So he's here, but he's not like this. This isn't God. Like, I'm not God.
This is his creation.
Yeah, I'm his creation, but I'm not him.
And we're also existing and living. And Jesus said to be like him.
Yeah, be like him, but not be him. Because we can't be God. At least that's my belief.
I believe we can be the light.
And what's your definition of the light?
Positivity, truth, love, God.
So are you talking about like becoming a little God?
No, God created me, and I'm created in his image,
Correct.
and I have a God experience. We're the only person with this type of consciousness. My mind is a godlike being. I'm not God.
That's all I wanted to hear you say, is that you're not God.
No, I'm not God. I'm a God created being, but he also created us in his image.
Yep.
And I take that really almost literally. The way that we move, the way that we are, and the fact that we are the most powerful compared to all the other mammals.
Mm-hmm.
And we have all the control in his simulation that he created.
Why do you think what do you mean by he created a simulation?
Because there's truths of the world. So there's ways to win the game.
Ways to win what game?
Life.
And what does winning life look like? Because we can have it all in this world, but that doesn't necessarily amount to anything.
Winning in life for me is understanding the men and woman dynamic and having a wife and children one day.
And then raise them up to be Christian.
Raise them to be seekers of the truth.
What's the truth, though?
Love, positivity, God, tradition. Whether it's Christian, whether it's Muslim, I'm very open-minded to all religions.
Really?
Yeah. However, so I would consider myself a seeker of the truth.
Which one do you fall mostly on right now? Religion?
Christianity.
Well, let's hope it stays that way.
And I really respect Muslims' high standards. I believe in good works. And I believe in being pure and doing good actions.
Yeah, I believe in doing good works too. I think when it comes to Christianity, they say that good works don't save us. Whereas in the Muslim religion, that like you're saved by your good works. You become a good person from your good works. Whereas Christianity says, I put my trust in Jesus, and then because he loved me first, now I'm going to do good works in honor of that. But I'm not actually saved by those good works. They're not what get me into heaven. Putting my trust in Jesus is what gets me to heaven. And then as a result of him loving us and changing us from the inside, now I want to do these good works because I've been changed. Because Muslims believe in Jesus too. They believe in everything that we pretty much believe about him, except for the fact that he was God. They don't believe that he was God.
We have to be like Jesus. And Jesus did good works.
Yeah. I agree we have to do good works, but I just don't think the good works save us. I think that if you're not doing good works, then it just seems like you're not really changed, if that makes sense. So it's really hard to explain because you're not saved by them. You're not saved by the good works. But if you're not really doing anything and you're the same way you were before you came to Christ, it's almost like there's no change. Are you really actually saved? If that makes sense.
So do we agree that good works are necessary?
In one way or another, yes.
Okay.
I just don't think that they are what save us. I think they are a result of salvation.
So Muslims are not saved?
If I'm going to believe the Bible, then no, they're not.
And then that's where my disconnect is. I believe the book of the people are all saved.
Book of what people? Or what book?
The book of God, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, and we see it through their actions, right? We see societies with God in them and how they're functioning. America, this is the first time we're in a society that's godless, and you see how it's crumbling from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you look at the Muslim countries, they're still successful. They're still moving in traditional values, which is important.
Well, what countries? What Muslim countries? Because not all of them.
Of course, not all of them.
If you're talking about Dubai, okay, yeah, they're thriving.
Yeah.
Or that's the city that's in the country. The United Arab Emirates is thriving, yes. But Iraq ain't looking too hot. So
Yeah, and then you got extremists on both ends that aren't necessarily benefiting anything.
yeah,
So there's always a good in between and a good balance of peace.
but I also don't think that. I mean, because you say that the Arab countries are, the Muslim countries are thriving, and ours is falling. But you could also say that we've lost our Christianity as a nation too. So wouldn't that be a result of why we could be falling?
Yeah, of course. I agree. Yeah, the reason why we're falling is because we remove God out of the equation and people are confused what genders they are. So then now relationships don't work. And then now both parties have to work. So a man can't, like everything we've been talking about, brother.
Yeah.
Is the reason why it's not working, because there is a force, evil, the devil, is breaking down families in the West. And the family is the most important environment.
Yeah, the family is what keeps economies going. It keeps countries thriving. I can't really explain why. It just makes sense.
Yeah, because you are your environment. You are the people you're around. You're the people that respond. And I believe the reason I am who I am is because of my family. And I'm forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
And the family, the fruits that the family has, the fruits that you have as a person make you into a person. Now we're talking more spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have these good fruits, if you don't have these good family ties, if you're lacking from something within, none of the physical can help you.
Oh, yeah. All the physical is going to come out empty if you have nothing spiritually or mentally, emotionally. Yeah, for sure.
It's all gone.
It is all gone.
And that's why people sell their soul for so cheap. But money is replaceable. Money is fake. Your soul is not.
Correct. Okay, well, that was a pretty good discussion, I think.
That was amazing.
And although we obviously don't agree on everything, that's okay.
It's fine, brother. We're human. And I believe conflict and disagreement is extremely healthy and important.
Yeah, I do too.
Because you gave me your perspective. I gave you mine. And then we can work on that to get closer to the truth.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Dylan, thanks for coming on. And hope to have you on again sometime. And thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.